Welcome to the grind.
There's a 2-hour window I get to see my woman. There's a clock ticking on her, it ain't my friend. Work wasn't easy, but we've been fit. Oh, I'm home, and she's off to bed. Oh no, money, my baby liar.
Welcome to the grind, everyone. It's me. I'm Devin Murray. I've been your host this whole time. If you're a listener and you don't know who I am, this is what I look like. I guess if you've seen the preseason tournament stuff, you've seen me. But this is my first appearance here on the Daily Grind. I can see myself down here in this little video. So this is going to take some getting used to. Just bear with me. But hopefully this new little setup is interesting and brings in a couple of more viewers and all that. Working on new thumbnails, trying to hack the algorithm, get as many eyeballs as we can. I'm recording this in a new software, obviously, and so I'm not sure if the sound quality is going to be any different, but it takes out all of the stalling and all of the silence, apparently, so it might be a little choppy at some points, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, we're working on all the kinks on this stupid new software, and the day is just getting away from me, and I get to give you guys less and less insight, but I should look better now. This is the good camera that I bought. Hey, look at me now. Wow. 4K, baby. Okay, let's get into... I need a haircut and maybe a shower. I'm just kidding. I smell pretty good, actually. Okay, all right, that's enough. This is why we haven't been putting a camera on me. Okay. Let's get to... I just recorded this and then it didn't go through, so hopefully it records this time. Let's get to last night's game. Nets at Heat at Miami. We stayed away from it. Didn't like where that line was going. Still thought that the Nets were going to be competitive in this game. The line closed at, I think, Heat -4. The Nets were missing Ben Simmons and Cam Thomas, as we talked about. But like I said, I thought that they were still going to stay competitive, and they were. This was a really back-and-forth game. I don't know how many lead changes there were, but at multiple points, the Nets were up 6-7 points, and then let it slip away late. It was like a 3-point game with a couple minutes left, and then Nets missed a couple shots. Heat closed it out. The game that we did bet on was we took the Thunder -3. We didn't let the fishy line scare us off. It was really weird. You know, without Chris Paul, without Draymond, I didn't understand why the Thunder were only, having to give 3 points. I know it's at Golden State, but the Thunder were completely healthy last night. You were getting the best version of them, and this young team loves playing these seasoned veteran teams and taking them out. And yeah, I did hedge a little bit. I took a 10-1 same game parlay on the Warriors spread, put it in there with the Chris Paul adjusted point total over, Klay Thompson over 25 points, and then like the over on Andrew Wiggins assists or rebounds. Obviously that didn't hit, and so I still made some money, almost a full unit on one play with just a little bit of hedge off on it. It was like, if the Warriors are going to come out and shock me, these are all the things that are going to have to happen, and I don't think any of them happened. And so Thunder ran away with it, won by 19, wasn't even really a competitive game. And so tonight, we're back in the in-season tournament. Are you excited? I'm excited. I don't think I could be more excited. Mainly because I don't really care about the in-season tournament as a Grizzlies fan, because we're pretty much already eliminated from it. But whatever. That's my problem. That's not your problem. I'm not going to make it your problem. I'm not going to sit down here and just mope about it. I'm gonna give you guys great content. I'm excited about the in-season tournament. It's gonna be friggin' sick, dude. We have 11 games tonight, and so we're gonna run through these pretty quickly. Because again, like I said, been working up kinks on all this stuff. It's a mess doing all this stuff solo, but that's what we do. We gotta up the production value. All right, so tonight, first game. It's hard for me to not go on a tangent about this game. It's the Milwaukee Bucks at the Charlotte Hornets. Miles Bridges is making his return to the NBA tonight. Unfortunately, I don't think that guy belongs anywhere near. Look, if you're not allowed anywhere near your kid or near your baby mama, and you just assaulted them last month and broke your parole, you probably don't belong on an NBA court. I know that the CBA, blah, 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 there's only so much that the NBA can do. But if you want to, go read Adam Silver's explanation this morning, his take on it. It's a pretty weak argument. And I'm not going to bring up Ja Morant in relation to the Miles Bridges suspension, but this is a really bad look for the NBA. I can't believe that they're putting him on a court tonight, allowing him on a court tonight. I can't believe that he's been allowed to be around the team. And I think the Bucks might be walking into a bit of a hornet's nest, huh? Am I allowed to do that? Are you upset about it? Too bad. Giannis is questionable again. The Bucks did look pretty good without Giannis in their last game, and just Dame running the show. Dame's used to running the show. I'm not going to bet on the Hornets because I'm not going to bet on Miles Bridges to have a successful return to the NBA. And they're also missing a couple of guys. Brandon Miller's questionable. Frank Ntilikina is still out. Gordon Hayward is questionable. I also think that the Hornets stink. And this line, it opened up at 4.5 for the Bucks. It's moved all the way to 8.5. A lot of the bets are coming in on the Bucks. Even more of the money is coming in on the Bucks. I don't think anybody wants to bet on Miles Bridges. I think 9 is a lot. If I was gonna bet this game, and I'm not gonna bet this game because I'm not gonna bet on Miles Bridges, at least publicly. Okay, because 9 points is a lot of points. 9 points is a lot of points. So if you're a horrible person and you were going to bet on Miles Bridges to have a good night back, and they could still lose. Miles Bridges could still have a bad night and lose by 9, but I could win the bet. If you are going to bet, I would not take the Bucks. I think that's a bad line. I don't think that the Bucks are that good with or without Giannis. And this is an in-season tournament game. We're going to talk about courts a little bit later, but one thing that we do like in the in-season tournament so far is home dogs. And we're throwing out Tuesday's results. That's midweek in-season tournaments. That's in-week in-season tournaments. This is a weekend, baby. This is where everyone's excited to be here. I think that the Hornets' nest is going to be a buzzing. Okay, that's too many Hornets. Screw Miles Bridges. He's a terrible person. Can't believe that he's back in the NBA. All right, next up, we've got the New York Knickerbockers traveling to Washington to take on the Wizards. This opened up at 2.5, and this has moved now to 7 for the Knicks, which is understandable. A lot of the bets, like over 90% of the bets, are coming in on the Knicks, and just as much money is coming in on the Knicks. Nobody likes the Washington Wizards here. And they have screwed up all of my in-season tournament statistics. As far as the gray courts, as far as the home dogs, all of that stuff. But RJ Barrett's questionable for the Knicks. From reading the injury report, I found out today that the Knicks have a guy named Charlie Brown Jr. This is why you watch, or this is why you check the injury report. This is why you deep dive. What a little nugget that we now can hold on to. I hope Charlie Brown Jr., good grief, he belongs in the league, right? Okay, I'm sorry. I also have to keep this kind of quick because I only have 40 minutes of this free software left. Oh, 39 minutes. Oh, God, we're going to have to zoom through these. All right, I don't have a real good feel in this game. I think that there was obviously a lot of value at the Knicks minus 2.5 whenever this started. But now that it's moved to minus 7, and with all of the money, the Wizards, they still run at a high pace. The Knicks like to slow things down. And I just never know what you're going to get from Julius Randle. I don't know if he's going to be frustrated with everything that night or if he's going to be locked in. Since we're not going to be watching the Hornets game, we'll probably tune into this game and take it live, but I like the Wizards plus 7.5. I know. The Wizards 7.5. I know. But I think that there's something there. I think there's some value there. I really wish that I would have gotten this line earlier, but because I can't even see, even if the Wizards are up early, that this swings back close to 2.5, unless they're up like 10, 15. And it's probably not going to happen. So we'll check out that one live. If you got to take something, I guess you would sprinkle a little bit on the Wizards. It's an in-season tournament. They're home dogs. 7.5 is a lot. Next up, we've got the Detroit Pistons traveling to Cleveland to take on the Cavaliers. This opened up at 9.5. It's still around that. It's dropped a little bit. Most of the bets are coming in on Cleveland. The Sharps like the Pistons a little bit more, just a little bit. The money's about split overall. A lot of people are out for the Pistons. Joe Harris is out. Jalen Duren is out. Livers is out. Monte Morris is still out. Bogdanovich is still out. And for the Cavs, they've got Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland are both questionable. So we're going to hold off again to see which of these guys are playing. Isaac Okoro is still out. But the Cavs, as long as they get one of those guards in, I don't really love the Pistons here, but 9 is a lot of points. A lot of points. That's got to be assuming that at least one of those guards is playing. 9 is a lot against the Pistons. That team still plays hard. We're going to take the Pistons plus 9. We've got to keep this going. I'm running out of free software time. I'm going to update it, but I just don't have time. I'm going to pay for it, obviously, but I don't have time to do that right now. Next game up, we've got the Kings at the Spurs. This opened up Kings -2. It's moved all the way to Kings -7.5. -8.5 on some books. A ton of the bets are coming in on the Kings, and a ton of the money is coming in on the Kings. Everyone hates the Spurs. Oh, they lose by 30. Yeah, they lose by 30 every now and then. Trae Jones is still doubtful, but eventually, I don't like him, but eventually Jeremy Sohan's gonna have a good game. Huh? Eventually, they're going to have something click. Eventually, Wemby's going to have a standout game. Yeah, the Kings just beat the Lakers. But that was because Sabonis just abused Anthony Davis. I don't think Sabonis is going to abuse Wemby. The fact that this line has moved all the way to 8 is absurd in my book. At home, we love home dogs in the in-season tournament. Give me the Spurs plus 8. Next up, we've got the 76ers traveling to Atlanta. This opened up at Sixers -1. It's about a pick'em, depending on where you're looking at. So we'll take this one just straight up. Is how we'll score this here for the podcast. Again, you'll have to follow on, I don't know where it is on the video here or over here, but follow us on Twitter at The Grind Podcast and like and subscribe underneath or up above, wherever you're watching or listening. All right, I'm going to stop doing that. Having video on is weird. But back to the Hawks and the 76ers. Nicholas Batum is out. Embiid is questionable. Obviously, Kelly Oubre Jr. is out. Thinking of KO. Hope he gets healthy soon. Terrible thing that happened for him. The Hawks come in completely healthy, which means that Trae's playing. So we're going to wait and see if Embiid is out on this game, because I think that's going to shift the line quite a bit one way or the other. But I don't love, if Embiid plays, I don't love this pick and roll for the Hawks. We've talked before about their inefficiency in the pick and roll game and their reluctance to get it out of the ball handler's hands and get it down into Clint Capella or somebody. They just tend to hold on to the ball a little bit too much. And I'll let you say which player tends to do that a little bit too much. But if Embiid is playing, I think that the Sixers win this game. If Embiid is out, then we're going to go with the Hawks. The public likes the Sixers. People, including me, have an anti-Hawks bias. But the Sharps are in on the Hawks. I think that they probably think that Embiid is not playing. That's how we're going to take it. If Embiid's in, we're taking the Sixers. If not, we'll take the Hawks. Next up, we've got the Boston Celtics traveling to the Raptors in Toronto. This opened up at -4.5 for the Celtics. It's moved all the way to -7.5. Some books have it at 8.5, 9. Ton of the bets are coming in on the Celtics, and even more of the money is coming in on the Celtics. This is probably the biggest skew of the night for a public favorite, is that the Sharps love them even more than the public does. Jaylen Brown is questionable. Porzingis is questionable. You wonder if somebody knows that one of those guys is going to get in and that the line is already moving. Al Horford's probable. The Celtics just had the big win against the Sixers. On the Raptors side of things, Anunoby is doubtful again. Good news for the Raptors is that Gary Trent Jr. is probable. For me, this is pretty simple. If Gary Trent Jr. is a go, then we are going to take the Raptors. 9 points in the in-season tournament at home. A home dog getting 9 for a competitive Toronto team in a tough place to play. That crowd is going to be into it. A Friday night in Toronto in the in-season tournament. They have that jet black court. Come on now, the Raptors are going to be into it. As long as Gary Trent Jr. is playing, then we're going to take the Raptors. If not, then we'll have to see how, if KP or Jaylen Brown's playing. I'm fine with JB being out. If KP is also out, then we'll have to see how the line is going. If KP's in and Gary Trent's out, I would expect Boston to win this game going away. Gary Trent Jr. is crucial to this team as far as being able to hang on the perimeter. All right, next up, we've got a rematch from the other night. Orlando is playing in Chicago again, but this time in the in-season tournament. This opened up at Bulls -3. It's down to Bulls -2. The Sharps love the Magic. The public is about split, but the Sharps love the Magic, and I love the Magic. We bet on the Magic the other night to win this game against the Bulls. They did. It was a close one in the end, but the Magic really jumped on them early, took their foot off the gas after halftime, let the Bulls get back in it. I don't expect them to make the same mistake again tonight. We've got DeMar DeRozan is questionable tonight for personal reasons. Alex Caruso is probable, but this team is in the middle of the trade rumor mill. They're getting a lot of noise coming into their locker room right now about who's going to be there and who's not going to be there. And they're home favorites, which we don't love in the in-season tournament. And what's this team care about the in-season tournament anyway? Some of them probably aren't going to be there whenever the Vegas thing rolls around, right? I don't think that there's a whole lot of motivation. I think that the Magic are a little bit better coached, have a lot more talent, especially if DeMar is not at the game, or even if he is at the game, his head's not in the game. And Zach LaVine is trying to show that he can put up 50. Go ahead and put up 50. I think that the Magic are a better team overall. So we're going to take the Magic +3. Next up, we've got the Nuggets traveling to New Orleans to take on the Pelicans. This opened up at Nuggets -1. Another home dog we have here. It's moved all the way to Nuggets -4.5. The bets are about split on it, but a good amount of the money's coming in on the Pelicans. Pelicans just beat the crap out of Dallas the other night. They're having back-to-back in-season tournament games on that weird purple court. Jamal Murray is still out for the Denver Nuggets. We've talked about how they're not as impactful, not as intense on defense whenever they don't have Murray out there. Yes, the Pelicans are still thin. They've got C.J. McCollum still out. Larry Nance Jr.'s out. Trey Murphy's out. Jose Alvarado's out. Or he's been upgraded to doubtful, but he's probably not going to play. I think that's what doubtful means, right? Anyway. But the Pelicans have been off for 3 days now, and they haven't had to go anywhere. I think that this line is drawing in quite a bit of the public. I think that this looks a little bit too easy. And with the sharp money coming in on the Pelicans, I'm going to side with the Sharps here again. Give me the Pelicans +5. Next up, we've got, this is a national game for some reason. I literally laughed out loud. Phoenix at the Jazz is the late ESPN game tonight. That's the best that we could do. Yikes. I guess you have to have bad matchups at some point during the in-season tournament, but this is a rough one. There's 11 games tonight, and there's not a whole lot of great matchups. So this opened up at Suns -2.5. It's moved all the way to Suns -5. The Jazz do play pretty well at home. They're not to be taken lightly, but they are injured. They've got a pretty decimated roster right now. They don't have a decimated roster. They just have a lot of guys showing up for G League two-way stuff on the injury report. Walker Kessler is out, however. On the Phoenix side of things, Bradley Beal is doubtful, expected to miss yet another game. It does look like Devin Booker's going to play and Drew Eubanks is going to play. I really liked what I saw from Phoenix the other night. I know that Minnesota was I know that it was a tough time for Minnesota on their schedule. I have some scheduling things to talk about. We might have to go back and amend some of these picks real quick. But we've got Devin Booker looks like he's going to play. I already said that. But Phoenix looks into it. They look into the season. They look into these games, especially with Devin Booker back out there. And Drew Eubanks is looking like he's going to play. As long as those aren't late scratches, we're going to go here with everybody else. Vegas is respecting this move of the line. I don't think that the Jazz are very good, especially whenever they're playing good teams. Like, the Jazz play hard enough that they can beat the bad teams, but I expect the Suns to be locked in tonight. Give me the Suns -5. Next up, we've got the Lakers traveling to Portland to take on the Trailblazers. This started off at -3.5 for the Lakers. It's moved to -8.5. On the injury front, it looks like LeBron is questionable. Anthony Davis is expected to play. And then on the Portland side of things, it's still just a mess. We all know about Robert Williams. Anthony Simons is still out. They're expecting Malcolm Brogdon to be out again tonight, which is the real killer, I think. Scoot Henderson's still out. They just don't have anybody that can really initiate this offense. And Portland is playing their 4th and 6th nights. Now this gets a little weird because the Lakers are also playing their 4th and 6th nights. And they're old. So this is a game that I really don't know what to do with. I think that 9 points is a lot. If LeBron is out, I'm definitely hopping on the Blazers. Because even though the Blazers are missing a lot of people, Shaedon Sharpe still plays hard. They've still got a little bit of talent. That Portland crowd, again, is going to be into it. It's going to be a low-scoring game because it's on a red court. If LeBron's in, I will have to see how much this line moves, but I don't think LeBron is playing a 4th game in 6 nights in Portland. I expect Anthony Davis to be a go, but I don't expect that to be enough to ensure the Lakers to win by double digits. Give me the Blazers +9 if LeBron's out. If LeBron's in, then we'll have to reassess. All right, last game of the night. We've got Rockets at the Clippers. This opened up at Clippers -6.5. It's moved to Clippers -7.5. Everybody loves the Rockets. Everybody's in on the Rockets now. I was over here betting the Rockets. Had both of their first wins. Bet on them to cover early. I knew they were going to be a good team. They were going to be a surprise team. Dylan Brooks has seen the light. Taylor Jenkins is a terrible coach. Don't get me started. The public is all over this bet. 83% of the bets are coming in on the Rockets. On the Rockets! And the Sharps are not as convinced. There's quite a bit of discrepancy between the public money and the Sharp money. Now, the Sharps don't love the Clippers, but a good amount of them do. Enough to swing it a little bit. That, coupled with the news from this morning that Westbrook said that he's fine with coming off the bench, I've been saying that's what they needed the whole time. They could have 2 great units out there, 2 different lineups out there. But that 4-man lineup just does not work. It hasn't worked since the first time they tried it in New York. We went through the numbers on this podcast. And I'm excited to see what the Clippers look like whenever they start to sort their roles out a little bit. It sounds like they're taking that first step tonight. I know that the 8 seems like a lot. The fact that this line has moved against the public money, against all the bets coming in, it's gone up to 8. They're just drawing in as many people as they can. I expect the Clippers to blow out the Rockets. This is my fishy line game of the night. Fishy game line of the night. We'll get that out eventually. Okay, I'm almost out. Oh, we need to talk about over-unders. All right, you should be seeing courts up on the screen. So they break down. So we've got 4 courts that we're going to take the unders on tonight, and those are the Washington Wizards, the Portland Trailblazers, the Chicago Bulls, and Cleveland. And that's because those are red courts and those are gray or normal colored courts. They don't seem to have the same pop. We're throwing out Tuesday night stats. Friday night stats are in. We're getting back on this horse. Again, you guys probably shouldn't do this. Let me do it, but I'm just going to explain it to you, what our thought process is here. And then we have a couple of not really colorful courts. I mean, they're not like super vibrant, right? We've got the black court in Toronto. We've got this green court in San Antonio. And then we've got this dark teal court in Charlotte. But I think that's enough for it to liven up everybody. But we're back to Friday night. So we're taking all 3 of those overs. We're not even looking at the number, guys. We're just going with the over. And then we've got 4 really vibrant courts. The Pelicans, the Jazz, the Hawks, and the Clippers. Those just look like a lot of fun to play on, so we're going to take the over in all 4 of those as well. So that wraps up all of the action for tonight. I hope everyone has a great Friday in-season tournament evening. Let me know if you've got any comments or concerns about the new format for the video version of this podcast. If you don't want to see my face anymore, just tell me. It would be a lot easier to do if I didn't have to do the video part of this. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Thanks again for watching. I've been Devin Murray. This has been The Daily Grind.
Wasn't easy, but we've been fit. Oh, I'm home, and she's off to bed. Oh, no. Money